Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Emisil ER07 or the Zeus prosthetic from their website. This is a super highly anticipated video in my Bag of Dicks review series. I'm really stoked to share this prosthetic with you guys. It has quickly become one of my favorite prosthetics in my collection. Huge shout out to Emisil for reaching out to me and being willing to collaborate with me and sending me over this prosthetic to review. As usual, there will be a link down in the description of this video that you yourself can use if you feel like you want to try out this prosthetic or you just want to give a look at any other prosthetics that Emisil offers. Obviously, using that link will not only help out Emisil, but it will help me out and it will help me continue this series for you guys. I know that this is a huge hit for you guys and you love listening to me review these packers. So if you have any other packers or anything like that you would like me to review, you can also leave those in the comments down below. And without further ado, let's jump right into this review. So before I show you guys the actual packer, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of, like the statistics and things like that. The Zeus ER07 is in erect packer, so it's meant for play only. I really don't think that you could or should pack with this packer by any means. It's got 6.5 insertable inches. So that means literally just the part that you could use during sex is 6.5 inches long. Emisil is known for their hyper-realistic prosthesis. So all of the details in the shaft, in the ball sack, they're all customizable. You can even customize pubic hair down to like how much you want, what color you want, whether you want real hair or synthetic hair. You can also change the details in terms of the thickness or like the firmness of the shaft. You can change whether or not you want the foreskin on the shaft to be movable. There's floating testicles, there's normal testicles. Like the customization options for Emisil packers are they're mind-blowing. It's honestly insane just how customizable Emisil prosthetics are. But unfortunately, with that amount of customization, there also comes a pretty hefty price tag. So this prosthetic, the Zeus or the ER07, I'm just going to refer to it as Zeus from now on because ER07 is kind of hard for me to say. So the Zeus prosthetic from Emisil starts at base, like literally the most basic thing you can have. No add-ons for the movable foreskin or the floating testicles or extra paint details or pubic hair or anything like that. And just like the basic shaft firmness is around 605 euros. Already for just the most basic version of this prosthetic, that's a lot of money. I was sent just the baseline model. I did not choose to add any sort of extra details or pubic hair or anything like that, just because personally I don't feel the need to have those things on my prosthetics. But if that's something that you like, or if that's something that you just want to try out, maybe you've never had something like that before and you just want to give it a try, keep that in mind that will raise this already pretty high price tag. So unfortunately, we're starting off with a really low score, and I'm gonna give this prosthetic a 3 out of 10 on the affordability scale. But the other factors will make up for this fact. I promise you this prosthetic is worth the price. Just listen, you're gonna find out why. Obviously, after we talk about the affordability, I'm going to jump right into the variability. So we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about the customization options for this prosthetic. It's available in 16 different skin tones, and you also have the option of mixing skin tones as well. So on top of the 16 skin tones that are available, there's also 6 different shades of hair, and then there's 2 types of erection rod. So like I said, the kind of firmness of the shaft is changeable. So for variability, obviously we're gonna negate that 3 out of 10 that we got for the affordability, and we're gonna give this one a 10 out of 10 just because there are so many options. There's so many things that I didn't even get into in this video. The only time I've ever seen these sort of customization options in a prosthetics company is when I look at Real Magic. But in my personal opinion, I feel like Emisil is just a little bit more worth it than Real Magic, just based off my own experience and what I've heard from other people. Next up, I want to talk to you guys about the wearability of this prosthetic. Honestly, I would give this prosthetic an 8 out of 10 because even though it is a relatively large prosthetic, it's not as heavy as you would expect it to be. Something that I've noticed is with a lot of larger, heavier prosthetics, it's not as erect as it's advertised to be because the weight kind of causes it to sag a little bit, and so it just kind of flops around. This one does not do that. Obviously, yes, it does sag the tiniest bit, but it holds the shape of the erection very well. It sits really nicely on my anatomy when I'm wearing it in a harness. It does have the option to be used like with an adhesive strip or like some form of glue on the back. So I'll show you guys that in a little bit when we get to the realisticness section of this video. But I don't trust that, and I don't like shaving, so there's no way for me to use the adhesive tab even if I wanted to. I just use harnesses, and the way that the prosthetic sits against my anatomy when I'm wearing it in a harness is really, really satisfying. But yeah, fits really well. It feels really well when you're using it, and I'll get more into that when we get to the usability section of this. It's a great prosthetic. It feels quite natural. It's not too heavy. Yeah, no problems with that. Next section that we're going to talk about is durability. I'm a little bit worried about the durability of this prosthetic just because I've personally never had a prosthetic that's this detailed before. So in terms of like what I'm worried about, I'm just a little bit apprehensive about how long all of these details will stay. I'm not sure if all of the tiny little painted veins in the shaft will stay for very long. I'm a little bit worried also about the end of the shaft and like where the scrotum is, where the balls are, because obviously that's where, when you're wearing a harness, that's where the O-ring of the harness sits, and so there's a lot of friction there. So I'm curious to see how that will hold up over time, but I haven't had it long enough and I haven't used it frequently enough to kind of see any sort of wear and tear. So if something changes in the future, I will probably give you guys an update about like the quality, how long it's withstood the test of time. But yeah, for now, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 just because I haven't had it for that long. And it doesn't seem to be showing any signs of wear and tear so far. So fingers crossed that it stays that way. Now we're going to get into the part that I know everybody has been waiting for, and that is the realisticness. I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys already that I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 on the realisticness scale. Now, I'm going to show you guys the prosthetic, so don't freak out, but there is going to be a phallic prosthetic on your screen. So this is the prosthetic. As you can see, there are a crazy amount of details on this thing. There are veins in the shaft, all up and down the shaft. Is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like, I have never had or seen a prosthetic that is this detailed before. We've got floating testicles in here. It feels incredibly realistic to squeeze, just so crazy to me. This is that adhesive backing that I told you guys about. This is where you can put the adhesive tab right here or any sort of body safe glue. So yeah, this thing is really, really, really fucking realistic. The only reason that I docked a few points is because this was a gifted prosthetic. I did not get the chance to go through and do any sort of like customization with a skin tone or anything like that. Personally, I just think I would have picked maybe a different color, but honestly, it's not that bad of a match. I might have done like a mix or something, but yeah, I really can't. Like, this thing is absolutely crazy. I was a little bit skeptical of the amount of realisticness that this company was flaunting. A lot of times when prosthetic companies say that their prosthetics are really realistic, it ends up kind of dropping the ball a little bit. 7 out of 10 for realisticness. Just a few points docked for personal preference things, but overall an incredibly realistic prosthetic. Like, it looks great when I'm wearing it. It looks great even when it's just sitting in my drawer. Like, it's crazy. Last thing that we're going to go over is the usabilities of the prosthetic. So like how usable it is, how it functions, does it function the way it's supposed to, so on and so forth. 6 out of 10 for usability. It is a little bit heavy, like I said, but it does its job very, very well. It sits kind of like this and it kind of cups under me. So this flat back is actually the type of prosthetic that I personally prefer. I'm not a huge fan of the prosthetics that have the little hole right here. A lot of companies put like a hole that you can insert your bottom growth into. Mine has never really fit into any of those pleasure pockets or any of those holes that are in the back. So I personally just prefer a flat back prosthetic. It feels better for me, and I prefer that sort of friction sensation that I get with flat back prosthetics. So this is actually really, really nice for me. It's long, obviously 6.5 inches insertable length, but it's not super girthy. So a fear of mine that I have when I'm opting for larger prosthetics is a lot of the times the longer the prosthetic is, the girthier that they make the prosthetic. I don't have any issue with the girth of this prosthetic, so really, really satisfied with it. Overall, I'll give it a 6 out of 10 for usability, just because, again, haven't really had it for a long time, so I haven't really had the chance to use it a whole lot, but from what I've seen so far, it's been great, and I'm really hoping that this thing is going to last forever and I'll never have to replace it. So now that we've gone through all the different factors and I've given you all the various different reasons as to why this prosthetic has quickly become one of my favorites in my ever-growing collection, we're going to go ahead and give the Zeus Packer from Emisil, or the ER07, an overall score of 7 out of 10. So again, one of the more highly rated Packers that we've had in this review process, or in this review series, and easily one of my top 3 prosthetics that I have ever used. And now I hope that you understand why that is. So if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this Packer, and if you're interested, like I told you guys before, you can go check out the link in the description of this video and you can buy one for yourself, or you can check out the multitude of other prosthetics that Emisil sells on their website. Just using my link, it will help not only Emisil, but also myself in order to keep this channel running and keep this review series running. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you sticking around all the way to the end, and I will see y'all in the next video.